BLS International is a Indian company listed on the stock exchanges in India on NSE and BSE. We started in the year 2005 with the outsourcing industry. Currently, we are present in 62 countries and are working for 36 client governments with more than 2,000 offices globally. So what we essentially do is we are a tech-enabled specialty service provider across the world. We work with various governments to outsource the citizen services to us. So what we do is, for example, if you want to travel to multiple countries, for example, if you go to Italy from Singapore, you will have to come to my office locally over there to apply for your visa. At the same time, we also work for the Indian government to renew the passports for the Indian citizens who are living abroad. So we work with multiple governments in multiple geographies. We also work for governments like Spain, Hungary, France, Portugal. So we work for all these governments globally in different countries as a company. In India, we are also working on citizen service projects for states like Punjab, wherein all the government services are outsourced to us. We have more than 350 offices over there. We used our technology platform to provide these services. We recently got a contract from the UP government, wherein we have opened more than 10,000 offices across the state, different districts, using our technology platform again to provide different government services. BLS International is one of the three companies globally which is present in this business, and BLS is the only Indian company globally which is present. So what we do is every company has works for certain governments. For example, if in India we are working for Spanish government, that will be on exclusive basis. No other company can work. So if you have to apply for a Spanish visa, that is essentially a Schengen visa, you will have to come to our offices across the globe and apply for that visa. So first port of entry has to be Spain, so then you have to apply for a Spanish visa. So that is how we work globally in this. So how we are differentiated from our competition is that we the technology that we use is a latest technology. The biometric error rate that we have currently is the lowest in the industry. We have our in-house biometric softwares, in-house processing softwares that we use. We also have our AI driven platforms. So what happens is our center undertake document scanning to verify the authenticity of the travel documents using AI and match them with repository of the approved documents in the tenders where government allows us to. The travel documents like passport and e-residency card recognitions are being used to recognize blacklisted travelers as part of security clearance with the help of AI. We also have a technology for electronic visa processing, wherein we are harnessing OCR, which is essentially optical character recognition technology. The software enables faster processing at the comfort of applicant's home or office with zero error. Basically, for example, if you apply for a visa like Spain, so you will go on the embassy website, and on the embassy website, they will ask you that if you have to apply for a visa, you have to give biometrics, you have to give your documentation. You cannot come to the embassy. This is our outsourcing partner. They will have our name and our address, location, and our website. Then subsequently, we have the set of documents that you need, the amount of charges that we will charge, you have to pay. So with those, you come to our centers, give the biometric, give your documentation, and then the application is subsequently processed. So we provide the 99% non-judgmental work part of the process. So judgment whether to give the visa or not is taken care by the embassy. So once the visa is processed, then you are given the passport back. Either you come to our center to pick it up, or if you've opted for a delivery, we can send the passport back to you. So this is how we globally work. Major volumes comes through countries like China, Russia, Africa. So we have big presence in Europe, but where the biggest travelers are, for example, in Russia, we have more than 25 offices. In China, we have 30 offices. In Russia, we are working for three governments now. So we work for the Portugal embassy, the Spanish embassy, the Indian government. In China, we recently got a contract for the Brazil government. We've already been working for the Spanish and the Indian government over there. So we work in multiple geographies with different governments. In India, we work for certain governments. At the same time, we also work for the Indian government for servicing their missions abroad. So that is how we work globally. And recently, a couple of years back, we wanted to diversify, and that is how we started the citizen service projects with states wherein the citizen service is required, like in Punjab and UP. We have started. We work for the Afghanistan government, registering all their nationals who were expats who were in Middle East. So we are working with a lot of governments across the world in this space. Also, we are doing a business providing banking correspondent services on the behalf of State Bank of India, where we are working in almost 8 states in India, providing banking transactions like opening of bank accounts on behalf of State Bank of India. We have a national franchisee license with the State Bank of India. Also process the visa for UAE on behalf of the UAE government. So that is also doing well. And also we work for the US government in one geography in Canada. We have, as I told you, we are a technology-enabled specialty retail service provider, wherein we work with various governments across the world. Like that, we have a contract with the government of Punjab, wherein we are operating 352 offices across the state, and we are providing more than 233 government services using our technology platform. So what essentially we do is, if you want to apply for a birth certificate or a death certificate or an affidavit or an arms license renewal, there are a host variety of services. All you have to do is come to your local Seva Kendra that is operated by BLS International, submit an application, and we will do the rest of the work for you. So once the application is approved, we will give the application back to you. So we are using technology. We have our entire software is developed by us, in which our agents log on to those who are sitting at our centers, and people come and apply for those applications. We process more than 30,000 applications every day in Punjab itself, of these government services, which includes marriage certificates. So there are a host value of a variety of services in which citizens do not have to go to any government department now. They can come straight to our center and apply for these services. Our model is very different. We work on an exclusive model. So this tender is awarded to us by the state government. So this concept is called Seva Kendra, wherein we have opened offices in these districts. So 352 are exclusive centers on behalf of those governments. So what happens is the government has a department called PSEGS, which is the Punjab State E-Governance Society, that has a back-end tie-up with all those departments, because us as a company going to each department and getting those 233 services is quite, it's quite tough. So the government has already streamlined the system wherein all these services are digitally enabled. So through the department, we have this contract, and the e-governance department facilitates all these services. So they come directly to our portal, and we then give the services to the citizens. So it's a common platform. So people do not have to go to different government departments for different services. They can just come straight away to our Seva Kendra, apply for those services in a convenient manner, wherein our services are driven by SLA. So we have strict service level agreement with the government, wherein we have to give the service in a stipulated time frame. And we have proper seating capacity. We have good facilities for the people, wherein they had to stand in line before to get those services. They are now serviced in a with using technology in a very quick manner. Some services, some departments are working on a hybrid model. Some have become fully digitized. So in some, we still have to receive physical applications and then transfer it back to the data. But as far as mobile is concerned, definitely information has started coming now. We have developed an app on which people can access the information regarding which service they can apply for, which center, what is the documentation they need to apply for those services. Applying through app, I would say some services for that they can definitely apply through app, because as in when we can integrate those services with the department, we can offer them through the app. But generally they have to come to the centers currently to apply for these services, because they also have to submit their original documentation to apply for these services to the government. What we have done is, see, since we are working in India and also in a lot of African countries, we have developed a model wherein people can put in the applications in the system and they can be uploaded at a later time during the same day when they have access to that connectivity. So applications can be saved, but uploading it on the government portal can happen at a subsequent time. Saying that we have people now in these centers, you don't need a lot of electricity for using an internet connection. They can use inverters. Then we provide them backup dongles. Mobile connectivity is still good. So I think now it has reached a level wherein you can do uploading through that. So that is always there for backup. So we have provided them a technology wherein they can process those applications and upload it at a convenient time if there is a problem. So there is no hindrance of the operations. I think most of the applications, when they come and upload, you can take the data and you can upload the data. If, for example, there is a lag in the electricity or there is subsequent problem, normally these things, according to our experience, is a minor percentage of the applications have these kind of problems. Otherwise, majority we have not had this problem because of the systems that we have, that we provide backup to them in terms of the internet connectivity is there, in terms of dongles. They have inverters in their systems, and essentially what they need is a single computer or desktop to upload these applications. Most important, I would say, factor in our industry: data security and privacy. This is what the entire and trust. This is what the entire industry is based on. Since we are processing more than 15 million applications every year, and we are collecting data of those citizens. So every country, I would say probably European governments have a similar arrangement wherein the data security policy is the same, but every country has a local data security policy which is much higher. So what we do is that, we adhere to, for example, if you're working for a country like Italy, so we have to adhere to the data security, data purging policies of Italy. So if we are operating in Singapore, for the Italian government, that means we have to follow two laws. One is of the Italian government, the second is of the Singapore government, according to the local jurisdiction. So as an organizational approach to data management is strictly adhered, encompassing the full cycle of data with clearly defined guidelines about classification, privacy, protection, retention, and disposal of data as per law of the land. So we have strict SLAs that every individual member of the organization have to follow. First is that we normally try to have a data purging policy. When the first of it is that we only collect the data on need to know basis. So whatever data is needed to identify that application, only that is collected. The other thing is that we have strict purging policies. Data is purged on the same day or the next day according to the SLA with the government. Then we have a host variety of security features, wherein a USB drive cannot be entered in the computer, so data cannot be taken out. We have dedicated lines, internet lines, in which IP address is identified. So we have given access to only a submission officers from a particular internet area. Only they can log in. They cannot go to their houses and log in. So we have to have a host variety of features. We have an entire IT technology team, which consists of a lot of people globally that do this on a daily basis. We also have outsourced this kind of mandate to companies who do ethical hacking for us, on a day-to-day basis. They go and try to take out problems, that we try and fix. So it is a constant job. We work in multiple geographies with multiple governments. We have to follow the law of the land. So our team is well prepared, and everyone has to take applications according to SLAs. So that is why in these 15 million applications that we process every year, everything is according to the system. If we work in a local, for example, local geography like Russia, China, we need to have local people, on the ground at the submission officer level working on behalf of those, because they understand the language, they understand the topography. Because we have people, maybe 300, 400 people in Russia or China. Globally, we have more than 5,000 people who are working for us in different geographies. And I would say definitely this is a requirement of the business. And this is, I would not say a challenge, but this is a system that we work with. So locally, we also partner with companies like Randstad, global HR companies, which help us in recruiting manpower. Sometimes it is on our role, sometimes it is on their role, because we want to make sure all the compliances from PF to local employer contribution, everything is to be complied for. So we sometimes take expert help also. For example, like in Punjab, we use Randstad to take care of the employees. So that is how we work globally. Any certainty on travel, if I give to you like tomorrow or next month it will start, or after 3 months, will not be justified, because no one has a certainty. What we expect is now, first quarter of this financial year or second quarter, things should start moving, travel should start. For us, the learning during the last year, obviously it was an impact because our visa business revenue was very negligible. But at the same time, we have managed to post a healthy profit, as comparison to last year. We managed to achieve those numbers. That is because of the citizen services and the consular services that we are providing globally. what has happened is, because of this pandemic also, there are new services that people were not using before, like home delivery, or people now want us to come to their houses to submit those applications. So on that, we get an incremental revenue. So I would say, because of pandemic, definitely there has been a lot of learnings. And the visa business has been impacted for us like any company. But at the same time, our business from citizen services and consular services, like renewal of passports for Indian citizens abroad or attestation of certificates, has significantly grown. And this value-added services, or the additional services, that premium services that these people now want, have also grown. So for us, we have learned about a whole new variety of services that this pandemic has provided. That is why we have diversified largely into citizen services. As and when I would say travel opens up, I expect maybe first or second quarter of the next financial year, things should start opening up. We will get additional revenue. So whatever we have achieved is the minimum right now. And I feel that with COVID opening up, we have seen vaccination drives happening across the world. People have been flooding us with queries. There is a lot of pent up demand and revenge travel that is to be expected. So right now we are focusing on readying our offices globally, in terms of infrastructure or technology, to fulfill that incremental demand that will come up. As I mentioned correctly, the revenue from visa business was almost negligible. Uh, the percentage split that we as a company have, so normally we do 85% of the revenue from consular visa business. Consular and visa is the same thing, because it's essentially the same embassy providing the visa business or the passport business. So we used to do 85% from that, and rest 15% was from the banking correspondent and the citizen service business. Now, because of the pandemic, that percentage has changed. We are doing 75% from the visa council service, rest 20 to 25% from the citizen services, because of this situation. There are a host variety of services that people have started now using, which were there or not there in a full scale manner and not being used. For example, now for our e-visa platform, people are applying for e-visas using our technology platform. If they have to give biometrics, they are, opting for a home collection or a home pickup, wherein our incremental revenue is there. So those are the kind of services that people are opting for. Regarding the government to citizen services, as I told you, there are many services. For example, even in Punjab, that have 50 new services have been announced by the CM last month itself. So many services which were not online before have now, because of this scenario, have fast tracked to become online. So that is the reason that our revenue from these services has greatly increased. Great. So how we operate is a very asset light model with a negative working capital. So all our contracts across the world, how we operate is, for example, in Punjab, it's a government tender. So each service has a different government fee and a fixed service charge that is mandated by the government that we can charge from the citizens. For example, if a citizen comes to my center and applies for a birth certificate, so then he has to pay the service charge which is due to my company, and also he will pay the government fee for that service. So both of those charges are collected upfront from the citizen by me. That price is regulated by the government, and then I transfer that government fee to the government on a SL, whatever SLA I have with the particular government, and that service charge is retained by me. Out of that service charge, that is the revenue for me. We take care of all the expenses, the rentals, the technology cost, and whatever left is the profit. On top of that, we also offer other services, for example, couriers, SMS, some additional services like insurance products that people would opt for. So this is the model that we globally work on. So we have tie-ups across the world with different companies, different insurance companies, different telecom providers to provide these services, because we've also started COVID testing. So when the travel opens up, there will be huge demand. Governments, I don't know what policy they're working on. They might be needing a COVID testing or a COVID vaccination certificate. So we have tied up with labs across the world and offering these kind of value-added services. We've also started, working for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Canada, where we have started collecting biometric fingerprinting on behalf of them for the employees who want to work in Canada. They need to get a background check. So we have got this contract on behalf of the police, wherein they can come to our centers in Canada and apply for biometrics. Recently Last year itself, we won a citizen service contract with even the Estonian government. So all the residency permits for the Estonia government, we have won a mandate in 5 countries, will be applied at our centers. So we are doing, last year also we worked one contract for the Brazil government, and we started working for the Portuguese government. So we have been growing as a company and getting different kind of contracts with different governments. I would say that right now, as technology changes, definitely there are opportunities and the industry changes. For example, 5 years before, there was no need for giving a biometric to apply for the visa. People could just send their passports and visa was granted. Now, because of biometrics, every person has to physically visit a center. So they have our walk-in in the center has become 100%. So anyone who has to apply for a Schengen visa or a Canadian, depending on, or US visa, they have to come and give the biometrics at the center. So because of security features, change in technology, physical presence has become mandatory. Some governments maybe have introduced electronic visa, definitely, but I would say we as a company have a technology platform that is suitable to all government needs. Definitely, even governments outsource those platforms. So there is a need for a player to bridge the gap between government and citizens. Whether it's collecting of biometrics or providing these services. So we are there. Globally, the demographic change is there, but from what I see, European government or the UK or US or Australian, all these governments need biometrics and need this technology for at least 10 years. Apart from UP that we are working with 10,000 offices, and Punjab government, a couple of years back, 3 years back, we acquired a company called Starfin India, which has a national banking correspondent license with State Bank of India. So during lockdown, when there was a huge direct transfer to the people across rural India by the government, we facilitated around 350 crore worth of transactions from these centers. What we essentially do is we have more than a network of more than 1,800 offices across 8 states in India, wherein we have a physical presence. Using a technology platform, people can come to these centers, open a bank account, transfer money, or withdraw money, or buy different kind of products. So basically, we get an exclusive mandate from the State Bank of India. Essentially, these are branches on behalf of State Bank of India that we are operating. Now, since we've acquired this company, the transactions have been growing, new products have been introduced. We are also in talks to different banks, to multiple banks to take this model to the next level. So very soon, we have already tied up with some banks. We will be rolling out more branches in multiple geographies. The RBI has also mandated SBI to increase the attraction, to get more, service points on board. So we are also in talks with them to exponentially grow this model. We are always we are in talks with some states government, in getting the same kind of model into those states, wherein, because we want to stick to our model wherein we collect upfront charges from the citizens, for providing these services. States are very much interested, seeing they have already visited our centers in Punjab and UP, and they have seen this model, and they are very interested, in providing the same kind of services to their citizen. So, using the technology as a base. So they are already, we have already talked to some states in the south. So as and when our contract is signed, we'll definitely be announcing that. Our centers are already being used and definitely will be used for providing those vaccination data or registering people who will want to apply for vaccination. As I told you, we've already started a pilot wherein we are collecting data for Ayushman Bharat from Punjab, and if it is successful, we will be rolling out it pan-India basis. So we are already doing Aadhaar enrollments at our centers, across India. So we are talking to multiple government departments, using our reach, how we can provide and our access to the population, how we can, provide these kind of services. We are already doing 100,000, transactions on a daily basis combined on a global level. So that is a big chunk that the government can use. The core of our business is technology and IT. We have, so as I told you, we have different servers in different countries. We have a big IT system. Our IT head sits out of India, out of our Delhi headquartered office. At the same time, we have regional IT teams that report to him. We have research and development center that are constantly innovating and developing new products. The softwares that we use are very scalable, since they are processing transactions in a big number. We are collecting data. So all these technology, over the years, we have tweaked, and we have changed, and now the platform has reached to a certain level where it can be expanded, without any problem. So for technology, like as I told you, natural language processing, we have chatbots, wherein applicants and travelers, they can know the current status of the travel documents, and they can accomplish, complex personal transactions using AI. So we also use identity management with the help of blockchain. Advanced level of biometric and fingerprinting scanners are used with different level of checks and balances in controlled and uncontrolled environment on real-time basis. Connected user experiences, we have our bots interact with travelers to understand the need and help them in getting up to date information, for quick and hassle free information. So we use different AI driven platforms, and we have a big IT and research and development team, that is constantly deploying and piloting different kinds of technology. Two things happened because of COVID. People were also hesitant to come to the centers. They also started looking at technological ways to avail those some kind of services, and we as a company also fast tracked deployment of those kind of services in which people do not have to be physically present. So I would say two things played. First, people got used to technology during this time. They were more acceptable to using technology to apply for these services. We as a company were ready with the platform, where that could be scaled up very fast. So we already had a platform which was workable, scalable. When the transaction numbers increase, the platform will stick. So that played to our advantage, and that is the reason that we've been able to convince, when they applied for the services using technology, they had a seamless experience. So they were happy to again do it. So that is how the gradual shift, I feel, is happening in India, where people are using technology to apply for these services. There are multiple tenders that are in the pipeline. Developed countries like UK, Canada are coming out with the global tenders. In the last cycles, BLS International was not a very big company. 7 years before, we were not present in multiple geographies when these come up. Now we are in 62 countries. We are eligible for these tenders, and so we will be definitely bidding, and we are sure that we will be getting a sizable market share of those kind of government outsourcing tenders. In India also, there's a big pipeline of state governments which are coming out with tenders in terms of the same citizens kind of services that we will be bidding for. We have been talking to them for a couple of years. So normally it takes 1 or 2 years, before the tender is out, and the government understands your solution and the tender is awarded. So next few years, I feel that we have really worked hard for the last 15, 16 years to achieve this scale and this level where we are qualified for all the tenders, and we're processing so many applications, and governments have a trust factor on us. So I feel the future is very bright. If travel opens up in the first or second quarter, this is the minimum base revenue and profit that we have achieved as a company when most of the world was shut. So things are only going to get brighter and better from here for us as a company. We are a zero debt company with cash on the books. We are also looking at acquisitions, in technology, or technology based companies or outsourcing service providers, which can also help us grow. So we are definitely looking at acquisitions and growth from existing and new contracts. So next few years, you will definitely see us growing to a 2x or 3x level. We are looking at acquisitions for the technology platform, and also technology based outsourcing company that are also in the same industry as us, globally, or companies which are in India. So we are looking at both the angles. We are currently also doing due diligence on some companies. Obviously it takes time. We want to be wise with the cash that we have on the books, but definitely we are interested in growth of the company, and there is acquisition on the cards. So next few years, I feel we can increase the base of the company and grow the company to another level.
Okay. One thing I'd like to understand, since you are about a 15-year-old company, as you mentioned, and your pedigree from an IT outsourced provider. So typically these area you are, if I may understand currently, you are competing with some of the behemoths. Selecting the visa service you mentioned initially, one of the three players, VFX is all we know, a giant there. Then if we look at the IT service providers, typically the likes of IBM or an Accenture provides government services extensively. If we look at India, it's the TCS and Wipro um, are kind of significant names in government service providers. So how do you uniquely, what are the BLS USPs, if I may ask? How do you differentiate yourself?
So definitely, if you talk about from a citizen service angle, we have big technology providers already in the industry, but none of them provide end-to-end solution. What service contracts we take is providing a service level agreement for delivery of those services to the end customer, which no technology company does. So we are providing the technology. Also, we are servicing those customers. Giving them a service on a timely manner. So what I feel globally, what I feel a difference as a company is that the technology that we use in our industry is the latest. It is not technology that is not changed over the years. So we have evolved. We are very flexible and agile as a company. So very, normally it takes years before a change is made, but once we see a problem, it takes not a lot of time for us to fix that and put that technology in place to utilize that. So I would say differentiating factors would be that we utilize the latest technology. We have a lean management. Decision making is very fast in the company. We are very flexible. We understand the government problems and provide the solutions accordingly. It is not like if we have signed a contract with the government and there's a change in environment or scenario, we will not change or provide them a better service or a different service. So I would say those are the key factors. And the another factor is that we provide end-to-end service. Compared to technology companies, we are providing a service delivery to the customer, end customer. See, I don't know what is the difference between private contracts or government contracts, since we have been working with the government contracts. So what we have experienced is that, working with any government, like India or Germany or China, Russia, any, or US, Canada, the SLAs are very, very strict. You have to follow very strict SLAs because you are collecting data on behalf of the government. You are providing a service which is like an essential service. Getting your visa or a passport renewed or a document is like an essential service on basis of which you do a lot of actions, for the citizens. So SLAs are quite strict, in terms of the compliances that we have to follow. So I would say that working with the governments, we have also learned a lot. At the same time, government is very reasonable. They do not want to enforce some compliances on you that is not acceptable. So they are very practical in their approach. At the same time, they want to protect the data for their citizens. They want their citizens to get service delivery on time, and so that is how we work globally. In this scenario, if all the governments, I would say this has been a very good time for us, because all the governments, although they cannot meet physically, all of them are very open to meet virtually, because everyone knows that this work is there and they need players all the more now. Because of COVID, now governments do not want to deal with people directly, more, even those governments which are not outsourced before. So there, everyone is looking very positively to outsourcing. They want companies to take care of all the SLAs and agreements for us. We have been meeting governments locally, virtually. We have, wherever possible, we have local teams in those countries. If government is allowing for a meeting, they are meeting them physically. Otherwise, teams have been meeting them on a regular basis virtually. Everyone is more than open to meet them virtually. I would say this has become the new normal. So I don't think that our business development or meeting or getting new clients has been affected because of this. Yeah, from a BLS perspective, as a company, we are the only Indian company globally in this business, which is providing a very good service. Last 15 years, we have been in this business. We have grown now to work with 36 governments, like Indian government, Spanish, Italy. And as a company, we want to provide a service which is beneficial both to the end customer. I would say in our system, it is the citizens, and the clients, which is the governments. Wherein at a hassle-free level, at a zero cost to the governments, they can get a service, and a very minimal cost to the customers, citizens, they can get provided the service.